So it's Saturday here in beautiful Southern California, and at this point in time, I usually have a home game, which typically I would run on like Friday nights, but then people were complaining saying, have a game Saturday, have it on Saturday. Why don't you have more games on Saturday? Saturday's better for me, blah, blah, blah. And then this is what happens on Saturday. This is my poker room. Sorry, my camera skills are terrible. Nobody's playing on Saturday. So, to take advantage of my close proximity to the Hollywood Park Casino, I'll be going out there and playing the noon, I think it's $120 buy-in after you do the rebuy and the quote optional add-on. So I'll be doing that, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So join me at Hollywood Park today for a little poker tournament action. It's about 10 minutes before the tournament starts. I think I was probably like the first guy to buy in. And like I mentioned, my strategy is definitely to buy in early and really take advantage of the deep stacks. We're going to have 250 big blinds, so you could argue buying in late and, because you have such a big stack to start with. But like I said, I like having lots of blinds to work with. And yes, I know these sunglasses are totally dorky, and if I do pretty well at these tournaments, I will buy some new ones. Wish me luck. All right, so we're at the first break. Things are going very well, and it's been a while since I played at a casino poker tournament, and wow, I forgot how terrible the players are in these things, in these little daily tournaments. They're so bad, and it sounds like I'm complaining, but I'm really not. It's actually awesome. You just have to be sure you adjust to play optimally against really terrible players. In essence, don't try to bluff them. I mean, there's a guy raising 10 times the big blinds under the gun with ace-10 offsuit and getting 3-4 callers. It's just, I was like, wow, my mind is blown. Anyway, so I'm getting paid off on all my big hands. I'm probably the chip leader. I would be chip leader for sure. Huge chip leader, but a few hands before before the break, maybe like 10 minutes before the break, I ended up getting pocket nines and raised in the pot and got a couple callers, and the board was like 8 high, and a guy who was short stacked, definitely shorter than me, he went all in, and it was pretty evident that I needed to call there. I had an overpair. I figured he maybe had like ace-8 or something like that, or I mean, these guys are just freaking morons, man. I mean, he could have ace-jack there, ace-king, who knows. Anyways, so he ended up having pocket jacks, and he won that pot, which sucked, but that's just how it goes. Hey, all right, so we are at the next break, and luckily I've been pretty good about keeping my stack above average. There was, well above average actually, there was a couple spots where or dipped for like the last, I don't know, 30-40 minutes before this break. My stack kind of, why are my glasses all out of whack here? My stack did dip down. I lost pretty decent pot with jacks versus ace-king against my neighbor, who is more interested in playing on his phone than playing poker. And so he raised pretty dang big, and I had pocket jacks and I had position, and I'm like, there's no way I can fold here. Now my options are call or raise, and if I'm going to raise, I pretty much have to raise all in. He was really just like eyes locked on me, seeing what I was going to do, and I could tell he was just like, come on, get it in there. So I knew he had a pretty big hand. So that being said, since his hand is kind of face up, his range is going to be pretty high in this particular spot, I opted to call, and it was a pretty good size raise, so I did, and just to see the flop. And another guy came along, another terrible player who just calls everything, whatever, his range is awful. And so the board came ace high, and of course with my pocket jacks I know absolutely they're no good, and it checks over to my neighbor with the big stack, the one who had raised, and he instantly goes all in, and I insta fold, and then the other guy thinks about it and then folds. So I lost a pretty good sized pot with that, and that brought me down to average chip stack. Then, like about 2 hands or so before the break, I got ace queen. Ace queen gets you in a lot of trouble if you don't play it right. So let's play it right. And I raised out of the big blind, and 2 guys came along. Same 2 guys that were in the jacks versus ace king hand. And ace flops, so I continuation bet. And the super loose guy, not the one on his phone, but the super loose guy calls, and then the guy on his phone folds and goes back to playing his games on his phone. And so now it's between me and this other dude. And another ace comes in the turn. And so I continue to bet. I do a CC bet, turn continuation bet. And this guy instantly goes all in, and I insta call. And I show my ace queen, and he's like, slams his ace 7 offsuit down on the table. And I win the pot, and now I'm back above average, looking pretty good. I've got 110K, average is like 65K. Average stack is whatever. I mean, it really depends how many big blinds you have. So, but I'm looking pretty good. So let's get back in there and get back to the action and see if we can get to the final table and then take this thing down. Just like that, 5 hours into the tournament, we are at the final table and in the money. Woohoo! Yeah! So we've only got 8 big blinds. That's the bad news. So we definitely got our work cut out for us. And yeah, so feeling pretty good about my play. Some nice lens flare there. Yeah, so just hanging here at Hollywood Park. It's a good Saturday when you're in the money. Also, the other sort of kind of bad news is that if I do bust out now in 10th place, then I just get my money back. But that's better than not getting anything, right? So that's where we're at. So let's run good and fix the soul patch here, and let's get this done. Let's get at least in the top 3, and this will end up being chopped, I'm sure. Once we're down to like 5 or so, it usually happens, or sooner. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, okay, right. So this is the alternate ending of this video. It was a little windy walking back from the casino. I'm now in the car in the parking lot here, and basically the long and short of it is I went out 7th out of 80 players, so not too bad. I was able to nurse the short stack and shove my chips in the most ideal positions due to an app that I put on my phone recently, and it's free and you can get it. It's called Snap Shove. And what it does is you punch in how many big blinds you have and your position at the table and how many players are at the table, and then it tells you the best range to use to open shove. So it's really cool because it kind of takes some of the guesswork out of, like, you know, oh, is 10-7 suited good enough to open shove here with 4 big blinds with 9 players at the table in, you know, under the gun +2, etc., whatever. So it's really cool. It tells you exactly what are the best hands to do that with, and obviously you use that in concert with your reads at the table, and it was really cool. So I think it really helped me bump up a couple spots. I think I could have easily gone out in 9th if I just sort of winged it. So in between hands, I was just studying the shove charts, you know, depending on my position at the table. Just punch in the numbers and hit calculate, and then it shows you what you need to do. Anyways, so yeah, all in all, it was okay. You know, going out 7th is not ideal, but you know, we'll take it, right? We cashed $310 was the payout, so I made $190 profit. Not too terrible. So that's pretty much that's our Saturday. So that is going to do it. So dinner time. Bye. You know I'm making money.